Hello, everybody. Welcome back to James and Flav. For now, I'm a bit fluey, so we'll be talking a bit quietly and a bit nasally. But I'm not excited about this. But I honestly, and this I think is a little compliment to our friendship, Flav. That I thought it will help me. I'll feel better if I chat to Flav. I honestly thought that. So hopefully, a lot of pressure on you. But hopefully, we can get through this. Also, I think there's a lot of stuff we need to talk about.
There's tons of football. There's tons of football to talk about.
Too much if anything.
I know.
We've got some football clubs as fruits, which I think is crucial. Needs to be spoken to help the world's discourse. And as Will Tranter, who's one of our patrons, and if you'd like to become a patron, there's a link in the description. The patrons are with us live right now. They were fantastic a couple of weeks ago. What was it? It was when we were doing the 2s and 3s toilet chat, and they were upset at the fact that they didn't. He sat down and flushed. We'll touch on that soon enough. But the biggest question I think is wheels or doors.
What does that mean?
So I don't know how it's got so big, but I've seen it everywhere at the moment.
I have seen it, but I've just chosen. I couldn't be bothered to find out.
I think it was the first time I saw it was Crystal Palace chatting to Conor Gallagher and what's his name, Gay, and asking him, are there more wheels in the world or more doors? What do you
think? There's more doors. There's got to be more doors.
There's more to houses than doors.
There's cars. They all have 4 doors, and they have actually some of them have 5 doors. So yeah, much more. I don't know. Fucking hell. Like, if you're really thinking about this, like, there's shitloads of wheels on trains, tons of them, way more wheels than doors.
Yeah, or like even like
what about machines? There's machines with wheels, and there's no doors there.
Yeah, or even like a little cupboard thing might have doors, might have wheels on it to move it around.
There's tons of cupboards. There's whole hotels full of cupboards and doors.
Is a cupboard considered a door? I think that's the big question.
Cupboard door, yeah, I think so. I think the cupboard door.
Cupboard door,
good.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of late to this party and
advent calendars. Good point.
Advent calendars is
toy cars though. Yeah,
toy cars.
Where does it stop though?
Yeah.
What sight screens? Show my middle class privilege there. Sight screens have wheels, no doors. So yeah, let us know, wheels or doors. I'm gonna go with doors. I think you're right. Wheels 100%, says George. Unbelievable. If you are new to the podcast, hit the subscribe button and all that stuff. The reason I say that is because Thomas Landis said this. Just started watching since the top 4 prediction video. But man, these videos are class. Serious, but fucking hilarious. Lovely stuff.
What, is he talking about your channel? Or
No, he's talking about the pod. Wow. To this, although of course the numbers have trickled up, and I mean trickled, I've always just thought we've got our little collective, and there are no newbies.
Yeah.
But Thomas Landis is suggesting that he's found the podcast just a couple of weeks ago and he likes it.
That's unbelievable. I was sort of sitting fantasizing, thinking this is great. Because the more James grows his channel, the more I benefit. And I'm not doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing. Crack on, Jim. Crack on.
Didn't you know that going in?
I never thought you were going to do it, Jim. I never thought you were going to make it. I was just doing this because I enjoyed it.
Right,
I enjoyed it.
Cards on the table now. Now it's worked out. Yeah. I can say I didn't think you had a show now.
What if we get to 100? What if one day we get to 100,000 people an episode? What then?
Imagine if we got 100,000. What's our best? I don't know what our best is. I don't think
last week was pretty good. It's 33k last week.
Yeah, we're always around 30 something.
That's pretty good.
100k one would be insane. That would be
consistency is good. Consistency. The fact that it's consistent. No, Dad's calling. Not going to answer that.
Not answering that.
Not the time, Dad. Not the
answer
time.
It when it's your mum. He's like, oh, Gal, you seen these sanctions on Abramovich?
Hello, Dad.
Hello. All right.
Yeah, is it important? I'm just recording.
Give me back in when you're finished.
All right, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, bye.
All I wanted is if you could give me a hand for 5 minutes. minutes when you pick the kids up or before you pick them up.
All right. Okay. Bye, Dad. Well, I thought it was going to be something better than that. I thought he was going to mention Chelsea and Abramovich.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it is the big talking point. We'll dive into that. Let's do a few comments of the week.
Comments of the week.
Jack Ward. So, if you didn't see last week's pod, by the way, guys, I didn't realise it was as mental as I sort of half did. And then I got quite a lot of feedback, people going, that was mental.
Yeah,
and I guess it was.
Because we went mad on the Abramovich stuff. And then then was a chicken.
Yeah. At some point I told you guys that I spit at my wife on a weekly basis when I have oranges and stuff. It's a power move. That was a low point. Fortunately, she doesn't watch.
Yeah.
I can imagine my mum going, like, next time she's doing, that was a joke, right? You don't.
Because your mum watches this, does she? I mean, there's some stuff in here that I don't want my mum listening to.
Mm.
Does she?
What's it? I can't remember what she does. She like,
Doesn't she say, I don't listen to the rude bits?
The bit that annoys me, yeah, I know when to switch off. Do you? She the one thing she does do, and Mum, if you are listening, stop this. She calls it Jaffney.
Jaffney podcast.
Oh no, Jaffney. She'll do a joke from the pod because we do this thing as well. We do the pod. We don't listen to it back, do we? No. That's right. You're fine. Yeah, we don't listen to it back. It just goes out, and we kind of forget what what we've said.
Yeah.
And so Mum will sort of sometimes say a little joke from the podcast back to me, and then she'll like, Jaffney.
Oh, bless her. I love your mum.
It's a power move from Mum. God bless her. So yeah, that's great, Thomas. Welcome, Jack Ward. The podcast switching from the beginning of a serious talk about Ukraine and Russia to a chicken named Khabib flapping in front of Flav's camera is the reason this podcast is so special. 185 likes on that. That is mental. In fact, it was called Khabib as well. Is that a Russian name?
Yeah, Khabib Nurmagomedov, or what his name is. He's the UFC fighter. When we got chicken, he used to wear that traditional headpiece. I don't know what it's called or what region of Russia it is. Maybe it doesn't matter. I'm not going to guess. But so that the hairstyle of that chicken, which is a Polish frizzle, they all have those hair. There's mad hair.
Yeah, really.
Cut. Yeah, and when she moves, it sort of shakes. It's cool. Anyway, that's why it's called Khabib.
That was a lovely moment. How is Khabib? Is he all right?
She is fine.
Oh,
absolutely fine. She keeps laying eggs in a bucket by the front door, which is quite good.
Oh, she just
Dagestan,
pops in.
That's which one. Dagestan.
Pops in, chucks one out.
Oh,
she gone. Wow.
Yeah, pretty good. Should we talk about?
Yeah, getting there. My tempo's a bit slow today, right?
Yeah, I know. I've got to chug this along for you.
Yeah. Joshua Jackson just checking in. We can only move forward. Bring back an old classic of shark facts. We were talking about your fetish with sharks last week. A common fact is that sharks cannot swim backwards, being the only known fish with this phenomenon. Therefore, sharks, as well as us slugs, can only move forward.
Indeed. There's a great symbiosis there.
Yeah. Flav's erotic love for sharks is therefore intertwined. Sorry, I'll just read that again. Flav's erotic love for sharks is therefore intertwined with the very essence of us podcast viewers. So who knew?
It's impossible.
It has to be erotic. There's literally no other way around it. Yeah. Anything on the shark programs?
There was an incident with a surfer this week, but it wasn't nothing serious. There was I watched a documentary on the Great Barrier Reef yesterday. Ollie was out. That was good.
Why is that important?
I don't know.
Why? What were you doing? If she was out, did you put it on? Did you put it on once? Did she go? She was like, "Oh, just popping out." How long are you popping out for? Don't know, an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a VHS hidden under the bed to greatest shark bites. Yeah, no one can have a sexual fetish for a shark. It's impossible.
Why? Why not? If they can have it with car exhaust, they can have it with shark. Sharks are more attractive than car exhaust, in my opinion.
I think that's a big wind up. That all these people shagging cars, and I just think they just want a bit of attention, so they want a TV show made about them.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's
no one fancies a car. Come on.
I just wanted this one.
And you know what? Some people don't kink shame. I am gonna kink shame here. Shagging and exhaust is not on.
Yeah,
there is a line.
Fine. But masturbating over sharks is fine.
Yeah.
Good to know. Tom Godfrey almost got crushed by a bar when doing a bench press. I foolishly thought that I could listen to the. I thought I wasn't recording there. I foolishly thought that I could listen to the pod while working out. Flav having to clear up that he doesn't actually spit at his wife on a daily basis cracked me up, resulting in me dropping the bar on my chest. That's hilarious. I love that. That's what made him laugh. I think he's got a good sense of humour, Tom. That caught him out. That you felt like you had to clear it up. It's funny. And this one that just made me laugh. Sean Levitt. I tend to drop in one big payload so I can employ the instant flush manoeuvre. I didn't really, the drop in one big payload. I just didn't expect that to happen. We had a lot of toilet chat last week, which I want to draw a line under.
Yeah, it's a bit grim, isn't it?
But I just thought this was funny. I tend to drop in one big payload so I can employ the instant flush manoeuvre. As soon as it breaks the surface, I reach behind and engage the flush. Almost as though the stool is never even there. There you go. And this is our little link for today's talking points. And in the chat, I'm intrigued to know how everyone feels about the sanctions, which we'll dive into. But Mohammed Usman Khan last week said, "Every billionaires have dirt on them. Why should fans care? We support the club."
Yeah, no, fans don't care. I don't think we're not saying they don't, do they? Why should? What is there? Is that a joke?
I don't think it's a joke. No, my point is like.
Do we talk about this yet?
I think fans should care. Like, obviously, football's very, like, all these thoughts and feelings are very multi-dimensional. So I feel like you should care, but you could also enjoy your team's games. You should care.
Look. The reason why you don't care when you're supporting for Chelsea, you don't care. You don't want to think about it. It's the same reason why people do care, and they're really passionate about what's happening to Chelsea at the moment. Most of it, for most fans, is just based in football rivalry and really nothing to do with the politics. So when you've got Spurs fans, most Spurs fans, not me, I would say, but most Spurs fans or Arsenal fans, West Ham, looking at Chelsea and enjoying this, it's not because they really give a shit about him being a friend of Putin. They're enjoying it because they're hoping that this dismantles Chelsea. Fundamentally, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
That's where most of the energy is coming from, because you look underneath it, very few people are actually talking about the Ukraine. If you look under the tweets of these journalists, they're just asking questions like, will we be able to buy players? Will we still be able to do that? They don't. Yeah. So by saying why should we care, you're placing, in my opinion, a biased view and a club-centric view. So by saying you don't care about why should you care just because you're a Chelsea fan, knowing full well if it was happening to Tottenham, you would be on it. It's a little bit,
double standard.
Double standard. It's just what football fans do. It's not.
But isn't that like? Shouldn't we be better than that then?
What, are human beings better than that? Are you having a laugh? What do you expect? Do you know what we go? It's not. We should be, James. We should. But we also shouldn't fin sharks in the millions. We shouldn't. Their racism shouldn't exist.
You're sharp about sharks for a minute. This is far more important than sharks.
It is absolutely not more important than sharks.
I think it is.
I don't think the plight of Chelsea Football Club is anywhere near as important as the finning of sharks in the Pacific Ocean, Jim.
Well, let's have a little read of the story. Ukraine. Roman Abramovich sanctioned by the UK. Chelsea FC owner Roman Abramovich has been sanctioned by the UK government as part of its response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. One of 7 oligarchs to hit with fresh sanctions. The list also includes Igor Sechin, Oleg Deripaska, both seen as allies. Yeah. Boris said there can be no safe havens for those who have supported the invasion. Today's sanctions are the latest step and the UK's unwavering support for the Ukrainian people. We will be ruthless in pursuing those who enable the killings of civilians, destruction of hospitals, and illegal occupation of sovereign allies. So he was trying to step away, wasn't he? He's obviously trying to step away as quickly as possible
by handing over to a charity, charitable objectives, which is then investigated by the Charity Commission, which was unlikely to be able to let that happen. So that was not possible. He was trying to step away because if you asset strip, if he's not the owner, then potentially that doesn't include Chelsea. But I don't know how that could happen. Not that I'm a lawyer and I really understand these things, full of mission, obviously. But if he's owed 1.5 billion, you know the reason why he said I do not expect that loan to be repaid, but that's still his investment. And essentially, he couldn't get that done over the line in time before the sanctions happened. So he finds himself in a situation now, and Chelsea find themselves in a situation where they cannot buy new players, they cannot offer new contracts, they cannot sell tickets to anyone. No one can buy a ticket to Chelsea apart from season ticket holders who already have one. They've been restricted in their spending on travel, so they can only spend a maximum of £20,000.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then was it $500,000 for security on the games?
Yep.
So essentially, and I don't know if anyone else has heard this, but these will be looked at again at the 31st of May. That's not saying Abramovich will be allowed. Say the invasion of Ukraine is done. There's no world where Abramovich goes back to Chelsea and carries on doing what he's done. There's no world where he can actually function in England or anywhere in NATO probably ever again. So that his time is done. We knew that already, but it's really done now. It's just about what happens to Chelsea now. Yeah.
So in terms of kind of talking points around this, I think it's so it's interesting. I was chatting to my mates about it. I'm not going to show the messages from them, but because they made some all right points. One point was, so this guy is a Chelsea fan, but he tries to make the right points, and he's often like very understanding of like where they got the money from, all that stuff. So he said this. He said, I get all the arguments about his source of wealth and political ties, and again, get sanctions for oligarchs and support that. My point is government can sanction him, freeze cash and seize his homes, etc. Stop Chelsea from buying players, but they need to allow some form of bringing money in the short term, so that they can just kind of keep going full stop. I think there's an element of fairness in what he's saying there. But the point is, and I said it's all of it's got to be all of them or none of them. Was my point with the oligarchs.
The problem is how much special dispensation do you give something just merely because it's a football club?
Exactly. It's bigger than football. It's not like, and this is just an example of how sport and the world intertwine, and society starts to look a lot like football. And so you have to I'm very wary of I think Chelsea fans will go, look, as long as we've got a football club. Well, some Chelsea fans will go, as long as we've got a football club, I get what's happening here. I think that's what would be my view of it.
I reckon about 10% would agree, would understand what's going on here. And would say, well, fair enough. But I reckon the vast majority of Chelsea fans and fans of any club that this would happen to would be like, fuck, the party's over. And
I think fuck the party is over is a part of it. I think they could go back to being, Crystal Palace level. I doubt it, because I think that sooner or later this will move probably quite quickly, and they will. I think that's an interesting point of it as well, is how Abramovich was trying to get the club sold as quickly as possible, possibly to get the money himself or whatever. But now within this, the question is, can the club be sold? And if it can be sold, where does that money go?
Yeah, my guess. But when things like this happen, and you commandeer or ban someone from being able to use their money or freeze their accounts, and it generally goes back into the nation state, the state that that has practiced that, and then really what should happen is the proceeds from that should go into serving Ukraine. That's what I think should happen. So my guess, again, what do I know? But just by reading and listening to what other people are saying, my guess would be that the club essentially becomes nationalised, so it's owned by the government, and then it is sold to a proper person. And a section of that should be no less to a section of like a group of Chelsea fans or consortium of Chelsea fans who have a controlling aspect on the board to ensure that this sort of stuff can never happen again. and then another rich benefactor comes in and runs Chelsea similarly to the way Tottenham or any other club in the Premier League's run. But having a benefactor in someone like Roman Abramovich, where he has a key interest in making Chelsea as successful as possible, because there's an end for that for him. That's done, I think, unless a Saudi consortium comes in or someone else with a political agenda outside of that it isn't about making money. It's not about running a business. It's about pushing or using the money to create a better impression of whatever place they're coming from, like what's happened at Newcastle.
Do you think now with the experience? Do you think now with the experience of time, the Premier League will see through that moving forward?
I don't know. I think the people that buy in these clubs are probably more intelligent than the Premier League, so they find ways of, the guys that bought Newcastle weren't saying we've come from Saudi Arabian. They were a company. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think there's too much to gain from having huge amounts of money in the game, and I don't think it's going to change at all, really. Chelsea will be bought by someone very, very wealthy, but they probably just may not have the same agenda as someone like the Saudis that bought Newcastle or Abramovich, or maybe they will, and they go back to being exactly what they are.
In terms of being, I think the fact that this is indefinite is interesting. Like I would imagine that, especially with Chelsea and the press that would come from that, the government would have been silly to not think a couple of steps ahead in terms of the next element of like selling the club, how you do that, and how you, because Abramovich as well is say he's got 9 billion, even if he loses 3 billion, he's still got 6 billion. Do you know what I mean? So he's fine. That's the one thing I wonder with this, is that, is it how much is it really strangling him? Like how much are all these things really strangling these guys? I guess it's just in terms of them having to go back to Russia, which is obviously not a climate that they generally want to be in, because they all want to be here on their yachts and all that stuff. And but yeah,
there's places they can go. I mean, they could go and live in Sweden or Switzerland, who are not, they're not part of NATO. So anyway, look, fuck them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Matthew Blake, I'm a Chelsea fan. This is 100% fair. It's a business that he owns. Shouldn't be given special allowances just because it's a football club. That's such a bad precedent to say. I couldn't agree more. I think if you can with your chest truly argue this one, you're being absurd. You're being completely absurd.
I don't think any of them will be puffing their chest out. They'll be just choosing to, either bury your head in the sand or.
But and so my friend kind of, I think in that moment of oh shit, what's all this happening? He's going, but don't bankrupt the club. And it comes back to the thing that a lot of football clubs have to deal with, but very rarely clubs the size of what Chelsea have become.
For real.
Which is if you're AFC Wimbledon, you'll go and make your own club and work through the leagues, because the club is what the club's about is bigger than any of that shit. So that's what they're having to sort of they've had one side of it what could happen here is they'll have to have the other side of it.
It's not. There is no such thing as a football club anymore. It's not that word club is irrelevant. It should be removed. It's just a nice tradition. They're not clubs. We aren't members of a club. That's not true. That's not the way things are. These are they're private companies or public limited companies owned by someone.
The big ones. The big ones you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's not all of them.
No, AFC isn't. I guess. QPR is.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying
point.
Go on.
Well, what my point is that you're not punishing the club. There is no club. You support something that is owned entirely by another person. It's not yours. It is yours in principle. It's yours in your mind, and it's yours because of the connection you have with your fellow fans. But the pressing reality is it doesn't belong to you at all. It belongs to Roman Abramovich. Tottenham belongs to Daniel Levy. Even Daniel Levy has made it so clear that he owns the football club that he changed the members card and used the term, this will make you sick, James, client reference number. We are clients of the football club. That's what it says on our membership card, client reference number. If that is the case, which is, then anything that Roman Abramovich does should include Chelsea because he owns it. It might be not in your head. It's like, oh, that's the team I support, it's the team I love. But in reality, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to him, and you are an extension of it. And really, even if you think of it like that, they're pretty gracious. It's a gracious thing to enable Chelsea to continue to compete.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to not kick it down the road a bit, but they're like that with the fact that you can't bring in any money whatsoever. Obviously, there's Champions League money. There's all these other things as well. They're trying to they're doing this between now and the end of the season. What's scary is that we just don't know how long this war's going to go on, and so if this goes on for years, what do you do?
I think they could probably move this on quite quickly for Chelsea, because obviously it's of benefit to the Treasury and the war effort for Ukraine for this to be sold and taken away from Abramovich. And if I'm sure a lot of that money, there'd be a lot of public pressure for that money to be going towards Ukraine, supporting the people there and the humanitarian efforts that are currently going on. So I think in terms of Chelsea fans, I would think if I was a Chelsea fan right now, I wouldn't be worried about the future of the club. It's just up in here, and you just have to wait and see until a new owner comes in. Yeah. But if the government is selling, I think effectively if the government is negotiating the sale of Chelsea, then it's a great opportunity for Chelsea fans to have a seat on the board and to have a major role in how the club is run going forward. Is that all of us want? That's all every club should have. And this is a great opportunity for them. This could actually work out for Chelsea's benefit. You know, people like Rory was talking about how I enjoyed all of the successes, but now I want some of that. I want to feel close to the club again. I wanted Lampard to be our manager, that kind of stuff. Like this could be it for him. Like you won't have the successes that you have previously because you got to remember Roman Abramovich when he joined Chelsea. Chelsea had won 3 cups and the UEFA Cup in 1988, I think 1998. That's all he won, and now they've won God knows how many. One of the most successful teams in Europe. So that is going to change. Chelsea won't be that, but what Chelsea will become is something you probably will feel closer to, I think. Maybe. Yeah.
Time will tell. Another Chelsea fan, just sit back, let things happen, take sanctions on the chin. This is what I mean. I think it's... I can't see this being a 3-year thing. I hope it's not, because you just pray that
it moves quite quickly for him. I think it moves quite quickly.
But it's for the greater good, like massively. Did you watch the games last night? Did you watch PSG?
No. Well, no, I didn't. But I was genuinely watching a program about reef sharks. But I've heard about the reverse, the Benzema hat trick and Poch fucking it up again.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that he didn't eat, mate. The guy,
not a winner. Not a winner.
Maybe
can't win.
It was absurd. Like I've never seen I couldn't honestly. It's very rare that you watch football games, and I just can't. Couldn't compute it. They complete. I've never like. It's very easy to go bottle jobs. It was mental. They completely. They made one mistake, and they completely shat the bed within 10 minutes. They scored their second and third goals within 10 seconds of each other. They took the kick off, and then just went down the other end and scored. Like gave the ball away. It's unbelievable. And so it was like it wasn't Poch. It's like, and also they were kind of. I was listening to. I was watching on BT Sport and stuff like that in bed, and Mike. First of all, whatever Michael Owen was wearing, whoever's styling Michael Owen, it's fucking. Let me see if I can find it. He's just complete. He's so lost.
Tim, what you just said in bed there, and you threw that in there. I don't know why you needed to throw it in, but it got me thinking.
Go on.
What do you wear to bed? I think you're like a completely naked kind of guy.
Yeah, I am.
Yes! Are you?
Yeah.
I love that energy.
But I wasn't yesterday because I'm ill, so I was like cold.
So you just get everything off straight in.
Big time.
Bollocks just dragging on the Sorry, you're ill. You don't need to.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll turn around and then you'll just hear just a thud. Yeah, Michael Owen was horrific in terms of what he's dressing. I can't really find it. It was just, honestly, it was like a 16-year-old going to his like prom. And do you know what happened as well, actually? Is that the presenter asked Steve McManaman about Verratti. They were talking about Mbappe, and then she just went to get him involved because Rio and Michael Owen were dealing with it all. And he went to McManaman, talk to us about Verratti. How important is he going to be in this game? And he did the he did the Robbie Lau. Yeah. You're like, well, I've seen him, and why is he a good player? And he literally said he did. And people, you've got to spot this, guys. When you've got to spot this, what people do when they don't know what to say, is that in their mind they just sort of talk through what they're thinking, which is he plays this position, he plays for this club, he's also played for this club international. He said he had an amazing tournament with Italy, winning it. I know he didn't play much, but he just ended up this thinker. But yeah, these guys have got these pundits are given packs of information. Yeah,
just hasn't read it.
Decide to read it or not. What was I getting? There was a point I was going to go to. Bollocks, forgot it.
Can I ask you a question then? Do you think, as a Man United fan, are you looking at that and thinking, is Poch really the one?
Not if
he's Poch the one for United. Because what do they want? They want someone to mount a title challenge against City and Liverpool, and you have to be absolutely ruthless in that instance. And Pochettino, I'm cool with it. I'd be cool eventually with him coming back to Spurs and not winning anything ever. I'm all right with that because that's what Spurs essentially are, a club that doesn't win things, right? So, but Man United aren't. They can't be that. They're in a crisis at the moment. 10 years without a league title. They're in a crisis. What are they? What are Manchester United anymore? What are they, Jim? See, Roy Keane, he was fuming, absolutely fuming.
So I think it's so. This is what people going. Oh, he's not. Well, the thing is, he's not a winner. For three halves of that tie, they were miles better than the opposition. Completely controlled it, and then the last 20 minutes, Donnarumma shut the bed, and one goes in, and then after that, they were all over the place. And it's not even. It's not even. You got Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe in that team. But they had those three in the team for the other three halves and didn't concede a goal. And Real Madrid didn't get that close to scoring a goal, really. So even it being about the front three, they sort of start to turn on those guys and they don't work hard enough. I mean, that's to a point. That's nonsense as well. I would turn on the Marquinhos. Marquinhos, his defending was atrocious. Like Verratti's been there a long time. Kimpembe made some stupid moves in that as well.
But this is the thing, James, is that this is what happens in football. It's really annoying. Really annoying. I don't think everyone to some degree is guilty of it, because if you're not saying this stuff, then what are you saying? There's not much to talk about. But you'll look at a performance, and for 80 minutes it was fantastic, right? Mm. But then in the last 10 minutes you lose the game, and there's a complete dissection of the entire first team. Well, they're not good enough, are they? That's why. It happens in football. Mistakes are made. It's just, you don't need to dissect the team. I mean, you do for content, you do, but it's the same. It's the same thing. You could dominate a game, lose 2-1, and there's question marks about the manager. It happens. Yeah. You can see goals.
Yeah, but but my point is, I think it's the players. It's not the manager in this situation. One thing I would say, and I would have tread really carefully about this, because I tweeted it. I nearly tweeted about it, and I thought, oh, no, you shouldn't say stuff like that. But it's been a bit on my mind. Messi just doesn't look like he enjoys football anymore. Like, he just looks fed up. Like, he's not in. I just don't get the impression that he's like, for someone who's such a so unbelievable. I just get the impression he's just really not happy and really not enjoying himself, and hasn't been for like years.
He's done a lot, and he's done a lot in his career.
I really wouldn't be surprised if he said to PSG, "Look, I just want to walk away," and they went, "Okay, you're going to save us a lot of money, and you're not the same player that you were." Like that. Okay. That's the other thing you could say with that game is if you didn't have him on the pitch and you put on Gini Wijnaldum, like would you have had a bit of balance in that side, like throughout the season, like quite possibly?
Well, also you look the same, almost identical story with Ronaldo. Eventually, these guys have got to accept that they're not the guys anymore.
Yeah,
Ronaldo has to accept. Ronaldo cannot refuse to play just because he was subbed.
Is that what he's done?
Well, he said he wasn't injured and there was no issue, and or something along those lines. And it's just, but they've got to accept, and maybe they can't. Their brains don't work in that way, and that's why they were so great for so long.
But yeah, it was they completely fell apart. But yeah, I go back to the defence and the midfield more so than that front three. They shouldn't have. Like, Real Madrid was struggling big time in that game. I'm amazed they were able to sneak through. I think they'll get as good as, and Modric was amazing. You would have loved it. I did think of you. I was like, he was just like 36, making tackles, driving. He drives through the middle, I think, for the second goal. Still such a good player. Such a good player.
I don't like him, James.
What? Because once he don't put the shirt on, he ain't a black. No.
Yeah, he's not. He ain't. I don't. I wish failure to everybody who leaves Tottenham. Utter and complete failure. Unless they come back, then they're fine again.
A plague of both your houses.
Yeah,
said
exactly.
Flav.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fair play.
It's like when Gareth Bale left Spurs and he's like winning Champions Leagues, and like you got Spurs fans on Twitter going, "Oh look, what? One of our players left us and done better. Left us with a prettier bird down the end of the road and had babies, and you're left alone, wanking and crying yourself to sleep."
Yeah,
but you're going, "Oh God, well, I'm glad he's so happy over there. Glad he's having a great time."
On Twitter, there's a lot of there's quick fire tweets just to get out. Mbappe scores. Everyone's like, "Goat, the goat. He's now the goat. He's the goat. He's going to be the GOAT. He's going to be top 10 player of all time. Go. Missed 3 chances before that. Anyway. If clubs were fruits. Oh, do you want to talk? I also want to talk about QPR have dropped out of the playoffs.
God, what has happened now?
Do you know what, though? I've been thinking about this. So I was like, oh my God, I've jinxed it. I jinxed it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I do not apologise for making that video now. I've decided. Do you know why? I thought about it. I was like, what am I like, the whole point of being a football fan is to like believe it could be your year. Like, live in that place of hope. Right? And it's not gone well. But I probably did it at the perfect time. And I do not apologise for that video at all.
Good for you. Good for you, Jim.
Like you always say, you got to go big, go big and go early.
Yeah, just go big, go early. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like the worst example of that is when we were 2-1 up and Eric Dyer had just scored against Arsenal, and he ran off to the Arsenal crowd like that. And I tweeted it at half time, and we lost 5-2.
Yeah.
But for those minutes, it was glorious.
But that's it. Like, what am I supposed to not believe we can do it this year? I still believe we can. Yes, it's an uphill battle now, but why not?
Quickly, we need to talk about Everton, don't we? Because they are fucked.
I mean, cracking couple of weeks for who's. I was thinking this would be a good question. Who's worse?
More fucked, Chelsea or Everton?
No, yeah. Who's worse, Leeds or Everton?
Worse in terms of just shitter.
The games you played against.
Oh, in terms of both of us, comparable. Leeds were better than Everton.
Really? Wow.
And I would say you would suggest that the manager they brought in is probably more capable than Lampard. I would say. Everton. What the problem he did? He played a 4-3-3 and tried to attack us. It's like, what are you doing, Lampard? You're not Chelsea. You can't come do. Anybody who comes and does that is asking for trouble when you've got Kane and Son. And the magician in midfield, I've got to say, is Bentancur. Oh, watch out for that guy.
I told you he's good. I told you Kulusevski's good as well. He's just runs and runs and runs and runs.
He's brilliant. But what I'm saying is that they try to come and play us, and you're not. But I mean, it's brilliant. It's made for a brilliant game and really open. But you're just giving world class strikers. I feel like all the time in the world, it's just madness. Like there's a blueprint to beating Spurs. You saw it literally the week before against Borough and against Burnley. That's the blueprint. If you want to beat Tottenham and have a good chance of taking points off Tottenham, a really good chance, just sit back and counter.
Yeah.
Soak it up, be professional, sit back and counter, and we find it very difficult. That's what you have to do. But Everton turned up and they were like, "No, we'll give it a go. Want a little move around? We'll give it a go." All right, go on in. And that's what happened. But yeah, I would say Leeds are the better. They created more chances than Everton did. Everton were pap. But more to the point is the fact that they're about to publish their results, for their financial results.
Everton.
And yeah, and there are 100. They're going to be in breach, basically, the Premier League spending rules.
Right.
And which will mean points deductions. It will mean fines. And it means they won't be able to register new players.
One more year for Seamus.
I don't even think they'll be able to register new contracts. I don't think. They'll be.
They've got to have players, haven't they?
So yeah, but you can't offer new contracts to players spending money until you become compliant. So anyone out of contract will leave.
Wow.
I would imagine. I was listening to Simon Jordan talking about it before, and they said if it happens now, because this is the end of the month, we'll find out whether they're in breach or not. And then he said what Everton will do is they'll appeal it, which will push it towards next season.
Right.
And
a bit like
then they'll start with a point
Derby.
deduction next year.
Yeah. It's it's dark time for them. I'm not totally sure they stay up this year. Well, I've got them going down when I looked at it.
I think they're in real trouble. They've got the players to stay up. I think they're the strongest team down there in terms of on paper.
It's not played on paper, though, is it?
It's not played on paper, Jim. You know, the front line. That Gordon's good as well. I was really impressed with him on the right. I'd like to buy him when they're financially fucked. Just really, you know, put a nail in the coffin by buying him for like 4 million.
Next to, because this is why I said they'd go down, was because of the games that they got left. Let me just show the people.
Well, while you're bringing that up, Jim, why why they bought Dele Alli? That's how mental their strategy is. Players just gone.
It's
we're not going to get our money for.
Got a clap though, didn't he? At least he got Lloris gave him a clap. That was nice. God bless him.
It's mad what happened to him. But didn't I? I don't want to be that guy, but didn't I call it a long time ago?
Yeah, you did. He'll be playing in the Championship next year. So yeah, Wolves and Newcastle next to at home.
Newcastle.
But then they've got really tough games. West Ham, Man United, Merseyside derby. Palace are quite exciting these days. Leicester City's starting to find their form, although Vardy's out for a while, so that might be one. But it's away from home. Chelsea at home. Eek.
How many points they got?
Don't you know?
39. What'd you say?
No, I said don't you know. 22.
I don't know.
So they need, need 4 wins, 5 wins?
I can't see that.
5 wins?
What, 5 wins in 13 games? Is that right? 13, yeah.
Asking a lot.
Doable.
Asking a lot.
Oh, I was doable, but they just look shocked, mate. They look.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They look, especially at the back. They look terrified. I mean, it might have been they've been asked a lot because there's like very little cover and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. But you can't. Can you see a team going down with like Pickford, who was terrible, but Pickford, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Decore.
Yeah, tough times for Everton fans. At least Wolves are struggling. Wolves are really good at opportunity this week. They've had a bad couple of weeks. Lost 3 in the spin, I think. Right.
Who's your dream free to go down?
Dream
really
free.
like?
Dream free. That's so you. In a dream world, I'd love to see these.
Got to be Newcastle. Newcastle, Everton, and Burnley. That's the dream. I
don't know, because like with QPR, you probably want the less financially impressive teams to go down.
The shitter teams, you mean?
Yeah. Well, no, that's not what I said. In terms of exposure to the league, it's Newcastle, Everton, Leeds, isn't it?
Sorry, Will's asked to put money in his account, babe. Sorry, that's how professional this podcast
Give him the
is.
dollar. Give him the dollar. If clubs were fruits, is a question I think we've all asked ourselves often. This was our most liked comment last week. Harry Randall.
Brilliant.
He said, Norwich are the tomatoes of English football. They exist in that weird place between fruits and vegetables. They are technically classed as a fruit. However, we all know they belong with the vegetables. They consistently dominate the likes of broccoli and lettuce in a salad, but they just aren't on the same level as bananas and apples. And we get exposed week in, week out on a fruit platter. Spot on.
Beautiful. Absolutely superb.
Devang shot. There was one. I didn't want to read it out. There was one person who made a lot of effort, sort of comparing lots of fruits to different people. It was terrible. So I'm not going to read it out and shame that person. But I will say that they were saying this person's this fruit because they've got they're saying Man United were oranges because they've got loads of history. Oranges have loads of history. Anyway, Devang Shah, he's an OG. We know Devang. Premier League clubs as fruits. Avocado. Is avocado fruit?
Yes. Yeah, it's got a nut in it. A seed or is a fruit.
Okay.
I would say it was a fruit.
Avocado, Man City. Suddenly came onto the scene and expensive with a lot of love from new young people. New young people. New rules. We've got unwritten rules as well. Let's do unwritten rules and we'll do new rules. Oh yeah, this was just a quick one, just to round off the Abramovich chat. Ash, football rule: you can't complain about your owner if you are champions of Europe unless they are a key enabler of a dictator. Peter G said, I think this should now go down in the rule book as unwritten rule 1B. I agree with that. So I think the rule stands.
Asterisks.
But rule 1B states that you can dislike them if they are a key enabler to a dictator.
Yeah. Oh, good on that.
Yeah. New rules. So last week we were talking about I can't remember the fellow's name, but thank you. He said that you should have 38 points as the relegation bar, and if you don't get it, go down.
A couple of people brought it up to me, Jim, by the way.
Do they like it or not?
Yeah, they liked it. I thought it was genius.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on, oh yeah, this is in addition to that. I'm intrigued to know if you think this works or not. Lee Smith, a good way to compensate the wild card idea would be teams above 38 points all start the next season on negative points depending on how many they scored above. So if Man City scored 98 points, they start the season on minus 60. That would be well interesting and balance out the whole league. I don't think that works.
I think just the adjusting, it's like the picks, that would be like the draft, the NFL stuff, that would be the best way to do that. You basically, Manchester City can only buy one player with a transfer cap of 10 million if they win the league. Whoever is 18th starts with, or 20th when they come into the league, they can register 10 players for 200 million, but they don't have to spend 10. That'd be better.
That'd be great fun.
Yeah.
Such a pool of players. Be mad.
But
I don't think this works because
you'd have like Lewandowski having to go and play for Burnley.
That's no problem. I see no problem with that. The reason that doesn't work is because once you get over 38, you'll try and essentially there's like a cat and mouse thing where you don't want any more points.
Yeah,
but you also would like to be up the table.
But how does that solve in the NFL?
I don't think they do that. They don't take points off people. They do this in betting. They do it in betting, but that's it.
No, but they do it in. What I'm saying is, like, if you're using the players, like you get first pick if you're bottom of the league, and that one pick in the NFL draft can change your entire team.
Yeah. I don't know. That's tricky. You have to. You'd have to have players. I wonder if you had players that once you're 23, so like you come through at a club, but once you're 23, and you can declare for the Premier League draft.
I like this idea, Jim. Just to go further on that, if you are not a part of the 16-man squad, you are up for drafting. So each team has to pick maybe 20-man squad. 18-man squad for the Premier League. Each team submits one. 16-man squad. Anyone who doesn't make that 16-man squad can still play for that team, but they are available for the draft system. And then in that draft system, there's a big pool of players of all of these different clubs that are not in that first 16. You imagine someone like Man City, probably about 6 or 7 players that would really improve almost every other team in the league. They become available to the teams, and the lower you are in the league, the first pick you get.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
I think we're fixing football here, Jim.
Just to finish off my one, because I think mine was good as well.
Okay.
Is that like if as a cut-off point of 23, right? So say you're Raheem Sterling, right, and Liverpool want to pinch you, but you got a real affinity to Queen's Park Rangers. You could say, I'm going to stay here, play games, enjoy myself, get some chalk on my boots, play with a smile on my chops, and then I'm going to sign contract at 19 or whatever it might be, but with the full understanding that QPR are going to get a few good years out of me, and then I will declare myself for the draft at 23 and then go play for the team that I want to. Although I guess that's the problem.
Why would Sterling have an affinity with QPR?
Because he came through the ranks at QPR.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
He did. He did. I reported on him as a young broadcaster.
If no one remembers it, it might as well not have happened.
It's a very dangerous thing to say.
Yeah, certainly as history's been rewritten all over the place.
Yeah.
But I think I can be flippant when talking about Raheem Sterling.
I think that's fair too.
I can't believe he's only 27. He's still only 27. It's unreal.
Joe said of someone... Oh, who was it? There's someone that's like 24. I might have been Dele Alli. Dele Alli's still really young, isn't he? Crazy.
Find out.
New rules. So that was one. Paper Mate. He said,
25 footballers who are younger than you think.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, 25. Fucking hell.
Watching the League Cup final got me thinking of a new football rule. If all 11 players have taken penalties and they're still at deadlock, the managers have to step up to decide it. Niche enough to happen rarely and would settle a few whose manager is better arguments. I like that. Some of the comments underneath were quite funny. Yeah, exactly. They would have struggled. So, Dude Meister said, imagine Pep missing the 12th penalty in a Champions League final with City. For them to lose it, that would be unbelievable. Crusader said, imagine Roy Hodgson scoring the last penalty to win some game, to win the FA Cup. Roy Hodgson, I don't think Roy Hodgson ever won a domestic trophy, didn't he? So imagine you got to the FA Cup, Palace got to the FA Cup final, and they got to that point, and then Roy had to step up.
Come on, Roy, don't let that.
Klopp's smashed one over the bar, isn't he? Because he's just like too excited.
Did he even play football, Klopp? What level did?
Yeah. He played I think he played Bundesliga. I think he played for Mainz. Pretty sure he did. And then Roy Hodgson like walks up with his specs. God bless him.
Who's the best footballer manager? Who had the best footballing careers? Guardiola in it.
Yeah, because there's so many managers now that didn't have glittering careers. It's quite common. Like if you think like
Mourinho literally didn't have a career.
Yeah. Brendan Rodgers didn't. Potter. I mean, to be fair, Potter played in the Prem.
Did Brendan Rodgers not play football?
No,
I had no idea about that.
I don't think so. I might be wrong. Lampard, Gerrard, Vieira. Yeah. I think
who's the best out of the three? Guardiola, Gerrard, Lampard, and who's the last one? Vieira. And Conte, actually. Conte's
a player, yeah. Scored big goals in big games. I would say...
Oh, God, who would you have in your midfield? You have to pick two of them. Who would you pick?
I'm going...
Oh, God.
Gerrard and Lampard has got to be, isn't it?
No. You've seen they can't play in midfield together. Literally can't play in midfield together. You're picking two effective players. It's got to be Vieira, and Vieira's got to be there. Has to be as much as
Gerrard is always above Lampard for me. He's miles better than Lampard. Miles. So
yeah, but I'm going to throw this. I'm going to throw this back. Gerrard, what's he won? Champions League.
Yeah.
Won. Conte won a couple. I think he's won loads of league titles. So Conte's got to be in there ahead of Gerrard by that token. Because Harry Kane hasn't won anything, can't be considered anywhere near amongst names like Henry or Shearer, because he hasn't won anything. So by that token, Gerrard really can't be named in any way close to someone like Conte or Vieira or maybe not Vieira actually, but Lampard.
Yeah,
won nothing. Yeah. That's such is the nonsense that comes out sometimes.
I always think. See, you don't have to play for a big club to be a good player. I stand by it. I've said it numerous times in this podcast. Robert Greene was world class the year we went down from the Prem. And I'll say that to his face when I meet him. Week chat. 2 bits of week chat before we go.
This has got to be the end now because I've got a meeting.
Oh, shit, yeah. All right, very quickly. Tyler Friedman, week chat. I was sat in Anfield the other week when I saw Luis Diaz do a few step-overs. Suddenly I heard a grown man behind me saying, he's got the skills to pay the bills. Horrific. Yeah. And finishing with this
terrible,
one.
Yeah.
Lenny Reid, cringe shouts at a football game. I was about 10 in a school football game when an opposing player tried a career ender and got me pretty bad. I wasn't particularly cool-headed back then and immediately got up, red-faced and really angry. I had a tendency to mess up insults when angry, swapping out words. Trying to emphasise my anger with swear words, given that in front of the gathering teammates from both sides, I held up my fist and shouted, I really want to fuck you in the face. Obviously, I meant punch.
Fuck you right in the face.
I want to fuck you right in the face.
I love that.
There was a long pause before the kid's eyes lit up and did that noise kids make when disgusted. Both teams fell about laughing.
I really admire people who can hold their composure when they're furious and still come out with sort of words and sentences that may mean something. When you're furious at school, when you're in a fight or something, and the shit that comes out of your mouth, it's like you've lost all ability to make proper sentence. I'll fuck you right in the face.
I want to fuck you right in the face. So they have
it's quite menacing though, to be fair.
Yeah, I want to fuck you. Yeah, if you'd said it with conviction, you'd been fine. I want to fuck you right in the face.
That's what's going to happen right now. I'm going to fuck you in the face.
And on that bombshell, we got through it. Well done, everyone. Enjoy your meeting, Flav. You go.
Yeah, just quickly, any more